Hello, Leo. My name is Lynn Walden. Welcome to my channel. I'm a clairvoyant medium and energy worker, and I'm going to be doing a reading for you today using my Intuitive Insight Oracle cards. So as I was beginning this reading, and I check in with the guides, the first image that they gave me for you today was an eagle, which I found really strange because, you're a Leo. I figured at least some kind of cat, but no, it was an eagle. So I stopped to check in with what that represented. And it's generally about higher guidance, spirituality, connection to God, the divine. But what was interesting about your eagle was that you were sitting in your nest and you started plucking a couple of feathers. You were like cleaning your coat pretty much. And you were looking out over this magnificent valley. And it's like you were checking out your domain. This was your domain. And I was wondering why you weren't flying. But you were not flying. You were just sitting there watching and looking and taking stock. And as I pulled the cards, I thought this makes kind of a lot of sense. So I'm going to tell you the cards that I pulled, even though they may not make sense to you in terms of how I'm interpreting them, because it's how they fall together and how it guides the guides for me to tell you what I'd like to tell you. But in case you want to work with the words of the titles, I'm going to tell you what they are. Chaos, surrender or giving up. That's like as an option. Compassion, good morning, mirror. How would you like to start your day? Be your own hero. Okay? Who do you admire and how can you apply that? Word fast, watch your language, and have no opinion. So I was looking at this, and the thing that strikes me about this is it's so much about you taking care of you. And think about Leos is that, all the fire signs, the brain is a very fiery organ. So all the fire signs have the capacity to think, to reason, to be really intellectual and analytical in a way where they can really move forward. And it's got that dynamic energy to it as well. But the thing with Leos is that they also often find themselves, therefore, in positions of taking care of stuff. And it may be within predominantly one area of their life, but very often they're the ones that have the solutions, have the answers, or think they do. And often they do, but it's not always welcomed because sometimes, not always and not everybody, but sometimes having an opinion, understanding and knowing what would be best or how something could be best done, in a way kind of robs the people you're offering it to of their own ability to learn it, of their own ability to develop something for themselves, develop their own confidence. And so sometimes what that can do is, I understand now why they showed me something else too. I understand now that in saying this to you, that for some of you, this will have created some difficulties for you. And what you're being suggested during this period of time is to just back off a little bit. Look at where you might be overstepping, even though for you, it's a loving act. It's a kindness. It's not always perceived that way. So read the room. Check in to see whether or not you need to always be the one with the answer. Now, what they showed me before I started this was 2 lines of energy, one branching off in that direction, one in the other. So what I also want to say now is, or it's really time for you to clean your feathers. What does that mean? That means it's time for you to take care of yourself in the most intimate way. And what I saw was the plucking of the feathers was literally around the chest. So where are you in your own emotions, allowing yourself to take care of yourself? So often for Leo, because they are smart and they can handle stuff and they know what to do, they very often end up living a lot of their self-appreciation and how they feel about their own value, but at a deeper level, from an external reference point where they are, well, okay, here's an example. You can feel good about yourself when you walk into a room and somebody compliments you on the fact that you've put out this amazing buffet. That's one way of feeling. Or that you remember to call them when they were sick last week and what a great friend you are. Or it can be that you just walk into the room and you're just feeling good about yourself regardless of what anybody says to you. And you're walking in that heart space for yourself, with yourself. I don't know if you can understand what that feels like yet, because Leo is very intellectual and sometimes doesn't get into the touchy-feely emotions or the emotions very much at all. Often, sometimes, not always. But there is a tendency for Leo to be a little bit more intellectually oriented and analyze their emotions and run their emotions through their head first before they feel them. And that can be a real coping strategy for sure, especially if there's insecurity in the emotional world in their childhood. If there's not a, which let's face it, for a lot of us is the case. But really, it's more about learning how to look at yourself and say, how do I wish to feel today, regardless of anybody else? What can I do in myself? What can I do in my day? What can I say to myself? How can I talk to myself and reinforce feeling good in me about me for no reason? How can I just let go the need to have opinions about everything, just for now? This may not be something, Leo, that you can do consistently all the time. It takes practice to get into that space, and it takes practice to get into thinking that it will work and that it's feasible, that it's reasonable. It's also true that many of you are in positions where, because of your skills and your ability to organize and think, where you have taken on responsibility for a lot of things and a lot of people, and that you may not be able to extricate yourself from them, but there may be things where you can. So look at that. Look at where it's coming from. Are these things coming from a place of really, truly loving what you're doing or wanting to do it? Or is it more coming from the fact that it is reinforcing a vision that you have of yourself, of being intelligent, able to help, productive in that sort of way? So there's, again, with all things, it's all about balance. But what you're really being encouraged to do, what I feel the guides are really encouraging you to do, is to really check in with yourself, with compassion for yourself, and to really look at how you want to spend your life in yourself. Like, if all of a sudden there was nobody else for you to take care of, how would you feel, and what would you like to feel in that space? If you don't know how to feel loving and warm in your heart for you, there's probably something that you feel loving and warm about. It may be an animal. It may be nature. It may be something in your spiritual world, something sacred that really activates your heart. So what I really would encourage you to do is look for the thing that brings you that feeling the most. Let yourself feel it in your chest and really let that radiate itself up into your head and down into your body. And own that. Feel that as much as you can comfortably. And let that be a little bit of a practice for you to stay in touch with what is good for you. Okay, my Leos? Watch your words. Be mindful of your words. And one of the ways to stay out of taking care of people is to willingly just say, I have no opinion on the matter. Sorry, today, having an opinion is not part of the formula. That's all. It's an experiment I'm running. You figure it out. I'll just be over here in the corner, enjoying myself being me. Okay, Leo, God bless. And listen, I know you can't do that in all situations. Some of them you are engaged in a way where you cannot extricate yourself. It does not mean, however, that you can't also take the time to do this other thing concurrently and look at where it's out of balance, okay? Because there will be places where you can pull back if you choose to. And that's going to do something very, very interesting for you. So listen, eagle, powerful bird, majestic bird. That's you. Okay, I know you're a lion, but you're also an eagle. So really embrace that. Embrace the strength of that. They're incredibly powerful, strong birds. I believe this is the animal medicine that's coming into your life right now. And I believe that is something that you can explore if you're interested. Look up eagle. Look at what it stands for. See how much of that is in your life and where you can take it. How much of that, if that were totem medicine coming into your life, which I think it is, investigate the eagle and see what qualities it's giving you access to now that perhaps you wouldn't have been aware of before. And I suspect it's going to be an extension of this reading that we just did. All right, Leo, I hope that's helpful. Have a great week. I don't know if I'll be back before Christmas, probably. Take care. Christmas time is coming. Watch your words. Self-compassion. Salute.